Alright, listen to this fascinating story. Ever heard of Erika Eiffel? Well, she's famous for marrying none other than the Eiffel Tower itself back in 2007. Can you believe it? So get this, Erika had this emotional connection with the Eiffel Tower for 3 whole years before tying the knot, and she's still happily married to it today. Talk about an unusual love story, right? But here's the thing, Erika's not alone. She's actually created a whole online community for people who feel romantic attractions to objects. They call it objectosexuality or objectophilia. And get this, it's not just about the physical stuff. Erika genuinely feels emotionally connected to the Eiffel Tower, like a real spouse. Oh, and before the Eiffel Tower, Erika was in a relationship with her archery bound named Lance. Yep, you heard that right. Love sure does come in all shapes and sizes, doesn't it? So, here's a wild tale from the island of Bali. Picture this, an 18-year-old lad named Ngurah Alit finds himself in a rather peculiar situation with his neighbor's cow. Yep, you heard that right, a cow. When questioned about his actions, Ngurah Alit claimed he mistook the cow for a beautiful woman who was flirting with him. Talk about a mix-up, right? Now, here's where it gets even crazier. The villagers decided that the punishment should match the crime, so they sentenced Ngurah Alit to marry the cow. Can you imagine? Poor Ngurah Alit was so stressed out by the whole ordeal that he actually fainted during the wedding ceremony, and the cow didn't even have anything to say about the whole affair. After the wedding, they took the cow away and, viewed as unclean, was led away and drowned. Ngurah Alit, on the other hand, had to undergo a ritual washing to cleanse him of his, sins. Yep, truth is indeed stranger than fiction. Alright, get this bizarre story from 2006. There's this guy named Charles Tombe from Sudan. Well, he made headlines for marrying a goat. Can you believe it? So, here's what went down. Charles was caught in a compromising situation with the goat, and the village elders decided to have a little fun with the whole ordeal. Instead of treating it as a serious crime, they made Charles marry the goat. But wait, there's more. As part of the deal, Charles had to pay a dowry to the goat's owner. Talk about a strange wedding arrangement. Now, here's the kicker. Charles actually lucked out by going through the village elders. See, if the goat's owner had gone to the police, Charles could have been in serious trouble for bestiality. But sadly, their marriage didn't last long. You won't believe it, the goat ignored her husband's advice and ended up choking to death by swallowing a plastic bag. Talk about a tragic end to a truly bizarre tale. Check this out, down in Toowoomba, Australia, there's this guy named Joseph Guiso. So, one day, he's out walking his dog named Honey in the park when he stumbles upon a wedding ceremony. Huh? Well, get this, that moment sparked an idea in Joseph's head. He decides he wants to marry his dog, Honey. So, he gathers friends and family, though the bride's side is a bit thin, and they all gather in the same park for the big day. Can you imagine it? Joseph standing there, reciting vows to love Honey forever, and get this, he even tells reporters that the marriage won't be consummated. That's some true puppy love right there. Oh, and by the way, the love for animals, whether it's romantic or sexual, is called zoophilia. Wild. So, Maria Griffin from San Bernardino, California, had this wild journey with her feelings. You know, for the longest time, she thought she was asexual because she just couldn't get into other people, if you catch my drift. But then, something changed. She had her first orgasm, get this, while thinking about the Chrysler Building. Crazy, right? Over time, she started feeling some type of way about vehicles, especially Ford trucks. Talk about a change of heart. So, Maria's like, I'm done faking it for guys. And she goes out and buys herself a Ford. And get this, she actually marries the thing in a wedding ceremony with a friend officiating. Then, they even go on a honeymoon to a campsite. Can you believe it? And Maria swears up and down that their sex life is just as healthy and active as anyone else's. Talk about unconventional love. There's this lady named Erika Eiffel, and her last name literally means Berlin Wall in German. Now, she's the one who started talking openly about being in love with things that don't even have a heartbeat. So, Mrs. Berliner Mauer, she fell head over heels for the Berlin Wall when she was just a kid watching TV. Can you imagine? And get this, in 1979, she actually married the wall. Talk about taking love to a whole new level. Now, here's the kicker. Because of all the security around the wall, she couldn't exactly go on romantic dates or anything, but she'd visit as often as she could just to be near it. Then, when the wall came down in 1989, while everyone else was celebrating, she was heartbroken. It was like losing her husband. Even though she hasn't been back to the remaining pieces of the wall, she keeps little models of it at home to remember the good times. Love sure is strange. This guy named Uwe Mitzcherlich from Germany, and he's got this 15-year-old cat named Cecilia. Now, when Cecilia got sick, Uwe took her to the vet, and get this, When the vet said Cecilia didn't have much time left due to being overweight and having asthma, Uwe did something pretty out there. He decided to marry his cat. Yep, you heard that right. He hired an actress to officiate the wedding, and they even got Cecilia a little white dress for the occasion. Now, if you know cats, you'll know they're not always into playing dress-up or attending weddings. So, Cecilia looks a tad annoyed in the wedding photos. We don't know if Cecilia is still alive at the moment, but hey, that's one wedding story you don't hear every day. Lee Jin-gyu found companionship in a unique way when he married a dakimakura, which in English means Dutch wife. This particular pillow, adorned with anime images, provided Lee with comfort and solace during his moments of rest. His dakimakura featured the character Fate Testarossa from the anime series Magical Girl Lyrical Nonoa, a personal favorite of Lee's. Over time, Lee developed a deep connection with Miss Testarossa, often taking her along to restaurants and theme parks. Eventually, Lee made the unconventional decision to formalize his relationship with his beloved pillow. In 2008, the ceremony to unite Lee and Miss Testarossa in matrimony was conducted in a traditional manner. However, the durability of their union remains uncertain due to the practicalities associated with pillowcases, which are regularly changed, and the inevitable fading of Miss Testarossa's image with washing. Despite these challenges, Lee's commitment to his unconventional marriage remains steadfast. Sharon Tendler made headlines when she married Cindy, a dolphin, in a ceremony held in the Israeli town of Eilat. Despite the unconventional nature of the wedding, it was not a lesbian union as Cindy was actually the dominant male of a dolphin pod residing on a nearby reef. Sharon's affection for Cindy grew from her frequent visits to Israel, where she would come to see him several times a year. After 14 years of cherished visits, Sharon decided to take the plunge and propose to Cindy through his trainer. The wedding ceremony was a unique affair, with Cindy surrounded by his fellow dolphins as immaculate best dolphins. Amidst the exchange of vows and fish, Sharon sealed her commitment to Cindy with a kiss. Unfortunately, the tale ends on a somber note as Cindy has since passed away due to old age. Chattel Defi, hailing from Thailand, shared a profound bond with Surinya Kamsuk, whom he met during their university days. Their relationship blossomed over a decade, filled with shared dreams and cherished moments. However, when Surinya proposed marriage, Chattel declined, citing his heavy workload. Tragically, in January 2012, Surinya's life was cut short in a devastating car accident. Stricken with grief and remorse, Chattel's heartache deepened as he realized the depth of his love for Surinya. In a gesture of penance and love, Chattel made the heartfelt decision to marry Surinya posthumously, seeking to honor her memory and the love they shared. The solemn ceremony was held simultaneously with Surinya's funeral, where Chattel tenderly placed a ring on her finger and sealed their bond with a kiss. Despite facing skepticism and accusations of sensationalism after sharing the wedding photos on Facebook and a video on YouTube, Chattel's actions stemmed from genuine emotion and a desire to pay homage to his beloved Surinya. Thank you for staying until the end. Like and subscribe before going, and see you in the next one.